crazy world we're living in. Where do we start?
That's kind of what we were discussing just there during the break. That they're
Yeah, I know we
so
didn't come to any point there. It's a lot to talk about. I
and
mean,
yeah, and before we knew it, we were back on the air.
it happens like that, and sometimes I wish the listeners could hear our off-air chatter when we're on commercials, because I sometimes come up with something or we discuss something off air, and I'm like, wow, I wish they could have heard that. This was
hmm
good stuff. And sure enough, we come back on air and we're like, what do we talk about?
well, actually, let's go ahead and we'll just bring that up and preface it all with saying that this is speculative.
Okay, we're gonna do some speculation now, folks, and this is all speculative, and it's important that people take this with the greatest grain of salt.
But I was mentioning to you that they hadn't done the Endeavor launch, and that I'm wagering they're going to go for it on 5/11. They were going to do the launch on April 29th, last Friday, on the same day as the royal rituals. But they didn't, and they've cited, mechanical issues. And this, ties in Gabrielle Giffords and Jared Loeffner and in that whole connected story. And she's
Sure.
somehow some, mystery woman that's no one's allowed to photograph her or see her doing anything anywhere at any time. You only
Do
see,
you think that's because she's okay, or do you think that's because they don't want to show her bad
debilitated.
condition? Or
I don't know, but it seems like a
it is weird.
pretty tight, lid on the story. But I kind of expected, that they were going to do the launch, even if they didn't do it Friday, that they were going to go for it on May Day to tie in with all the NASA occult, connections. Because, of course, NASA intimately connected with our occult Nazis, and that's how we do what we do. But if they go for the launch on 5/11, what we were speculating about is if there's about to be some next step type of event, would it concern the space shuttle? I don't know. And again, that
Maybe
would
they're
only
going to
be
take the space
speculation.
shuttle and crash it into the Sears Tower or something.
Again, it's we shouldn't even joke about it, but
No,
but
please.
so many things are ridiculous. That's why I find The Onion so fascinating, because it's so close to what's really going on that you almost, I don't
You're
know.
right.
It's tough to discern sometimes. I
Sure.
defy
They
you
did that thing
sometimes.
on Facebook recently. I don't know if you saw that. They
Uh-huh.
did this thing. Oh, and it was totally done with a straight face, as they do a lot of their reports.
hmm
Anyways, we're here in news, folks. Breaking news on the Bob Tuskin Show that this firefight that there's all this discrepancy about. Was he shooting back? Was his wife used as a shield? What really took place? And I don't want to get caught up in the distraction. I think it's a total distraction, and they're doing this on purpose. They're making it so convoluted on purpose, this whole story, because they want you to be caught up on this issue. And even the mainstream is being caught up on this issue. A lot of people within the mainstream pop culture don't buy the story, which is interesting. So, anyways, breaking news though, Osama bin Laden's been reported as throwing box cutters as the Navy SEALs entered his compound. This is just in. He was throwing box cutters.
You're getting that from The Onion, right?
That was right from the Onion, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that was Bob Tuskin's Onion. I have to have some fun once in a while.
And
Because
that's
this
the
stuff
thing.
is so absurd.
Absolutely. Is that, and I've taken, fortunately, I've taken a couple strolls around the neighborhood today just to kind of take in, it's fortunately a nice, beautiful day, and see folks out in the lawn, working on their garden, doing all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, this is what should be going on, and this is what I would, prefer to be doing. I'd like to be playing drums or out in the woods or, anything in a way.
Amen.
But would
Instead,
it
we
be a
have to
more
spend our
normal
time-
reaction to run down the street like the end of Invasion of the Body Snatchers and say, you're next, they're here already? Isn't it obvious to you by now?
Are we on some sort of list? Is there people talk about the red list, and is there a red list, and are we on it in your opinion, James?
There's probably, I mean, and again, we're going to speculate here because we're crazy conspiracy theorists. There is probably to some extent something like that, but my probably vision or what I would see going down in some kind of situation, because Katrina was the great kind of practice run for what massive breakdown will look like if and when it happens here in the States. That unfortunately, I think so much of it will all be left to just destroy each other and fight each other over scraps and loot over crap from stores and all of that. Do I put it out of the realm of possibility? Absolutely not. But I see them basically, when the rug gets pulled out from under us, they're going to let us all tear each other apart. And of course, military and police, and they're all going to go take care of their own. They're going to ultimately, I think, abandon their positions to some extent, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
So is there, a list, and again, that's stuff that, folks like William Cooper used to talk about, and I was kind of referencing William Cooper's work and again, speculation about the space program, and is there kind of an occult meaning concerning the names, that it's a Columbian endeavor to enterprise for the discovery of Atlantis, and all challengers will be destroyed. So you can kind of read the names of the shuttles to tell you the story of what they're trying to do.
Sure, and of course they've taken out some of those shuttles symbolically.
And all challengers will be destroyed.
There you go. All challengers will be destroyed, and the Challenger, of course, blew up and was destroyed.
On TV, for all of us to see.
Sure. It was a big trauma-based mind control episode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the continuing dialogue here or dialectic of trauma-based mind control. Just put it on camera for everyone to see, and then totally mess with everyone's emotions and totally traumatize them. I thought something may go down with the royal wedding, and just watching those cousins kiss and those evil bloodline satanic pieces.
And wasn't it was such a passionate kiss too? Didn't they really look like they were in love?
They looked like they were brother and sister with the kiss.
And then the interesting, I don't know if you caught the photos, and that's the thing, within the stupid tabloid world, you'll still find these nuggets of, what some folks call twilight language, and these kind of signs and symbols and things. But the little angry looking girl frowning next to all of it, I don't know if you caught any of this, but there's this strange little kind of rather homely looking child who's frowning during their sort of, presentation, and they kiss on the balcony and all of that. She's covering her ears and she's frowning, and she, like I said, she kind of looks inbred, and there are weird scars on her wrists. So it's just a bizarre little hidden sight in all of that. But I find it interesting that, as we're talking about kind of trauma-based mind control and these sort of traumatic events, that to me is what rings really false about not showing any evidence whatsoever of bin Laden, because, it might be too graphic. As if they've ever hesitated to traumatize the public by showing them graphic images over and over and over again. I don't think they have it. We, I think, know fairly certain that bin Laden has been dead for quite some time. And even if you don't want to get into any of the occult surroundings and all the esoteric rabbit holes, of which there are many, and they are worth exploring, you can still look at the mainline history and say, well, we did fund and train this guy to fight the Soviets.
Well, that's exactly right, James. Let's talk about this some more when we get back. And we'll talk about some of the other things you covered with your New World next week. Did I get it wrong that time again?
No, that's it.
Yeah, I did.
No, that's right.
Right?
Yeah, newworldnextweek.com.
Okay, hallelujah. All right, we'll pick it up on the other side. This is the Bob Tuskin Show.